to order at 6:37 p.m. 6:37. In attendance, myself, Kathy Golding, Select Board Rep, and Morris West alternate. I will appoint Morris West as a voting member for this meeting. Thank you. Excused are Curtis Coleman and Brian Bailey. Perhaps they will come. Minutes of last.
You have to abstain.
Same, I haven't seen them and I wasn't here. So.
All right, we'll table that for next. All right. Really, the first thing is Peter Carboni is no longer with us, so we no longer have a vice chair.
Did he formally resign? Do we have a letter?
Oh, do we have a letter? I have a text.
So we can formally accept it?
He did. Well, let's see. Let me see. I guess I didn't have a letter. Wait. No. Oh. So that's required? That's we should have a letter. I'll get a letter from him. I have a
We
text.
could say it was verbal, I guess.
Yeah.
Make a motion to accept.
He notified us at the last meeting that was his last meeting. And we accepted, I think.
Oh, you did?
That's a good question. Let me look back at the minutes. I think we actually accepted it. But we didn't vote, we just accepted. Yeah? Aha, yes. Last month's minutes say the Albany Planning Board regretfully accepts Peter Carboni's resignation from the Planning Board.
Really?
That is done. So we need a new vice chair. What do you think, Morris?
That's fine.
Full-time planning board member?
That's fine.
That's fine.
Sure, I was here anyways.
Almost.
So to go from alternate to full-time, is that just an in-house thing, or do we need to go to select board?
You probably need the.
Because they're already a
You're
member.
gonna recommend and then they're gonna officially appoint.
Okay. Right. And then internally, once appointed by the select board, then internally we can nominate Morris to vice chair.
You can appoint him, yeah,
Appoint him.
yeah, and then you'll have to go and be sworn in by the town clerk.
Okay. Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
So Kathy Goldman advised that the Albany Planning Board send a recommendation to the Albany Select Board requesting that Morris West be made a full member of the Albany Planning Board. Okay, thank you. All right, we shall do that. And then the other thing, membership-wise, was we talked about just doing it the old school way and talking to people and reaching out. I don't know. I haven't heard
It's
anything.
probably the easiest way.
Instead of advertising.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it hasn't borne any fruit for a couple of years. We keep saying that, and we don't have any new members.
And
Do
people,
you have any
um,
people you're going to wrangle in? I've kind of asked everyone. I don't know, honestly, all that many people, but I've asked the people I know. Nothing yet.
Maybe I can ask Sandy where she sees everybody coming through the door,
Yeah.
if they might be interested in a town spot.
Or posting just
That's
on the door.
usually, yeah, that's usually how because I would communicate with everybody who came through the door, so.
Yeah.
We try to get them in that way.
Okay. So we're going to continue with the old-fashioned way for a little bit longer.
And I know that, I was recruited, at the town meeting.
Yeah.
Where, they came up to me, but we might want to just announce it to the whole group that's there.
Yes.
At town meeting.
I have done that
Absolutely.
before.
Yes. That sounds good.
Because, people who show up have some interest in it.
That's right.
Right. There's already a level of engagement there, which is good.
Mhm.
Sandy Golden? No.
Bizarre.
Yeah, sorry.
Also the website, town website.
That's the plan. That's the plan, man. All right, so possible preliminary consultation with Mr. Roche. He's not here, haven't heard from him. So tabling that, moving on. Select board report and information. Anything select board report?
Well, we just made it through the election last Tuesday, very busy, probably 65% turnout. Not quite our highest, but definitely a good turnout.
Election day turnout was around 60.
65.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What was our highest?
I believe 78 since I've been on.
Yeah, a presidential year.
Yeah.
It's pretty good for midterms.
It is. We're just starting to work on the budget.
All right.
And our furnace,
Yeah, I saw something there.
we had a new furnace put in today. The old furnace was 1992. That finally gave up on us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Surprise ending?
Not surprisingly,
But yeah,
I've been wanting for the past couple of years to.
an abrupt ending anyways.
Yeah.
That was yesterday it was installed, or was it today?
Today.
So the trucks
Today I was
today.
here at 7 o'clock, so. think of anything else.
All right. Thank you. Under select board, I had a few questions. These are just kind of general operational things since you were here. This was the Conservation Commission question regarding budgeting, operations, attendance, and if their regular operational expenses, if there's an excess in a line item, it can be transferred to be used in another
Within the department.
within the department within the fiscal year. Yes. Okay. That is good to know.
Mhm.
Thank you. And then road repair reporting. What's the process for road repair reporting? Like I saw some undercutting on the road. So should a community member contact the road agent directly? Should a community member contact the select board?
The proper way should be through the town administrator.
Through the town
He's an
administrator.
elected official and he shouldn't be bothered outside of the town hall. It should be official chain.
Process chain.
Yeah,
Okay.
either an email to the town administrator who can forward it.
Yeah.
To the road agent.
Okay.
That'll be more formal than reaching out to him personally.
Okay. And then invasive species along our roads. Is there anything that you know of about doing anything about those? I saw some, I'm pretty sure on Drake Hill Road, there's a whole patch of something growing that is not native. And it's kind of like rooted out sooner rather than later before it gets worse.
I'm
kind of
not
thing.
sure that would be under his jurisdiction
Yeah,
as far
so-
as, he takes care of the roads and maintenance and all that stuff. I don't think anything off the road he would be taking care of.
Well, in the ditches. Ditches are part of the right of way of the road,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, that's where it is. Anyways, send it to the town administrator, who would send it to the road agent.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And who is the town administrator?
Kelly Collins with an EY. And the
Great.
email is contact@albanynh.org.
All right, down to new business. We already kind of talked about recruiting new members. CIP. Shall we go through it here or just set a date to go through it?
Well, should have everybody here. but-
Yeah. Last year we just did it in meeting. It's November now though, so we kind of need to make some progress. So we either need to make some progress tonight or set a date probably in this month to have a CIP meeting.
So, suggested is 80,500 for total. And it includes 1,000 for, and the 22, the 22 column,
You're ahead of me.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
The 2022 column.
Yeah.
These are all approved appropriations.
Yeah, this is last year's spreadsheet, as I have it.
Oh, okay. But the 2022 were all approved. I wasn't here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh yes, I should get a current balance from Kelly because that's 2021 current balance for all the funds. I guess we could have a preliminary discussion and suggestions and then have voting next in December. Would that still keep us on track time-wise for everything? So, Morris, are you okay seeing up here? Do you want to print out? I can print out if that's helpful.
I can slide closer to, if you read it, I'll let you know if I can't
Okay.
follow you.
All right, so
Could I ask a question? The balance from local funds, is that what we're trying to achieve?
yes.
Okay.
No. That is what is, what is it? Yes.
Okay.
No, balance from local funds is the target balance.
That's what I'm saying, is that the target?
Yes, that's the target from local funds.
Okay.
And then, so like under highway department, highway expendable trust fund,
Mm-hmm.
yes. As of last year, our current balance was 190. Our target balance is 260 from local funds.
Okay.
And then the
And then so
gross
we-
capital is 1.3 million. And so the 60,000 per year.
Right.
There.
And that should bring it to 250, which is, if the target's 260, we're right there already.
And highway expendable trust fund is completely what is raised within the town. That's not getting grants, or is it?
I believe it says 1, 5, 6, and 7. 1, for future spot repair paving Bald Hill and Passaconaway.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's done any of that.
No,
Number
right.
5 is the
5
flat
is
grant
flat.
program, which is 80% federal.
Yes.
7, cash flow funds for the flat grant and red list bridge grant funding, which should not be part of it because we have the Drake Hill Road Bridge expendable capital reserve, which is specifically for that bridge. I think I'd like to hear more from Curtis about it. He's a little more knowledgeable.
Okay.
But if we were at 190,000 last year and we're adding 60, that brings us to 250, and our target is 260, I would really like to lower that 60,000.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis received a grant, an additional highway block grant this
Okay.
year.
Great.
That was voted from excess surplus funds from the state budget. So he received that. He also was granted some of the ARPA funds that we received.
Yeah.
Totaling over 2 years, over $73,000 or $74,000.
Okay.
So currently his regular, I wouldn't say regular, his over and above maintenance in doing roads is in very good shape.
Great.
So if indeed that target is 260,000.
Yeah.
And last year puts us at 250, we're going to see some excess expenses from the fire department this year. We're renegotiating our contract.
Okay.
But there's a possibility of the dissolution of Conway Village Fire District.
Oh, yeah.
And if that happens, eventually when our contract ends with them, we'll fall under the town of Conway. And the way the town of Conway will set that contract out will be according to equalized evaluation and the cost of the budget, which is going to be excessively higher than what we're paying now.
Yeah.
We've had a great deal from them, and it is going to change.
But they're
So
being dissolved.
they could be dissolved if the vote goes in that way.
And when's the vote?
Next March,
Yeah.
which means Conway would take over January 2024.
Huh.
So the thought process was that we're gonna see a gain this year, in 2023, and then incrementally over the next 4 years until our contract ends, to be a little bit closer to what Conway will be charging, which will still be in excess of what we reach in that 5th year.
Currently, we go through Conway, yes?
Conway Village Fire District, but there may be a vote, and I'm hearing there will be a vote, but I don't know that yet, we don't see it yet. But there's a possibility of dissolution. In that case, Conway would take over and hopefully honor the current contract that we have with them. But when that contract ends, it will change, the formula will change.
Mhm. Mhm. But that would be, so if it is voted to be dissolved and Conway takes over, Conway would effectively be sending new bills in 2025, 2024.
2024. However, there should be some wording in our contract that they will honor our contract until completion.
Which is 3 more years, is that what you said?
I think we're doing 4, it's either 4 or 5.
Oh, okay. So if they honor, we have a predictable contract for,
I'm just saying, if we can lower this.
Yeah.
And kind of in exchange for the higher fire contract rate.
Yeah.
It could be a wash this year.
okay.
Um,
So I'm trying to remember back, but I'm wondering if the 60,000 each year was in case the grants didn't come through, that if we had to just fund it, is that?
I will tell you, if we had to fund the Paso Conway project,
Ourselves?
I would not be in favor of it.
Yeah.
So again, I think
60.
I'd like to hear a little bit more from Curtis.
Yeah. And so you don't know the status of the flap grant? Or you do?
It's just
Wait.
sitting there.
Waiting for the state to
They want
progress
to
it?
shut down Paso Conway Road in order to do, I believe it's either the testing or the construction. And there's no way that we can close down Paso Conway Road because emergency vehicles would not be able to go that way, and they cannot fit over the covered bridge.
Mhm. So that grant is dead in the water, basically?
Unless they can change their mind and give us another alternative, and we told them in the first place that we can't close it down, and that's what they came back with anyways. So we have the engineer reaching out to them, and like the federal government, it's very slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
They go months without reaching out to us. Right now, I think the latest was beginning of October that they reached out to us.
Not with an update, nothing new.
Nothing new.
That's unfortunate.
It is.
That's what it is. 1, 5, 6.
Also on the Drake Hill Road, from what I understand, there's a possibility of, we were one of the last applications to get in on state aid bridge funds.
Okay.
And then they kind of shut it all down. But being the last one in, if they revive that, we could be right back in there.
Mhm.
And so we really should be ready for the possibility of the state, because if we don't have our portion of the money, they will move on to the next project.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So do you think that one should be bumped up to get closer to the 150 that is our target?
84 and 8, so you're right, 90, 92. Again, I really wouldn't want to bump it up too much just because of that fire contract.
Yeah, but if we're
I mean,
reducing the 60,000 on
Well, I mean,
expendable
I'm not
trusts.
saying doing away with it, but my other thought was, to get some work done around this building that's been neglected for a very long time.
Mhm. Okay, So should we just start at the top and go through instead of ad hoc? Or?
Sure.
So general government and buildings. Chapel Capital Reserve Fund. So not having anyone from the chapel committee here, that's been funded at $1,000 per year. Should have a balance somewhere around $17,000 to $18,000 in it. And unless you have any information on the chapel, you do?
So we didn't have, title to the deed.
Oh,
So we didn't really want to invest into the building without
yeah.
owning it. But we are holding a public hearing to gain quiet title
Okay.
to it. Our lawyer is working on that. I forget the date we're gonna have the public hearing. Once we do that, we could probably appropriate funds or use this, to do the steeple work that is, very necessary at this point to save that steeple.
Okay. So the town is holding a public hearing to acquire title to the deed.
Quiet title, yeah.
Acquired title. Acquired title. Once completed. A steeple. All right, so steeple work, and I think that's basically what this was mainly being funded for, because the rest of the building is what, steel roof over the rest of it.
So it'll never get on the registry
Oh yeah.
as a historical building because of the metal roof and the little annex going from town hall over
Oh wow.
takes it out.
All right. So we don't have an estimate for what chapel or steeple roof.
Last was $23,000.
Yeah. So we're kind of slowly on target for that.
Yeah.
Maybe that should stay the same.
Yeah, unless we get some other information.
Yeah.
The board of selectmen can always change the warrant
The
article.
number for the balance there is what?
17.5. And then you're gonna add another 1,000 from
The balance from local funds, what's that number?
50,000.
50,000, so that's target.
What's the target for how much the fund should have? This was a general concept at some point of chapel maintenance. And it's, been funded at $1,000 a year. Any other question on chapel? No. Town Hall Property Capital Reserve Fund, which has the little number 8 after it. Funding for capital improvements, maintenance for building, parking lot, and property. So Kathy, you had some thoughts on Town Hall?
I mean, it has to still be discussed
With the whole city,
with the town, with the board of selectmen, but my ideas are, get some landscaping, fix the siding, whatever we need done.
All right, so that has a current balance of 8,000. It's being funded at 6,000 a year. A target of 30,000. Would the furnaces that are just put in be drawn from this? Then?
It's a possibility, we might use ARPA funds, but that's my suggestion right now. We need to meet and see what the funds are actually. It was emergency, obviously, the cold weather.
Yeah.
To get that done, so, it's a possibility,
Of ARPA or of CIP?
both,
Yeah, both. Yes.
one or the other.
ARPA is, what is that?
American Rescue Plan Act.
Thank you. So that's at 6,000 a year. So that would bring the balance to 14,000 or thereabouts.
Mhm.
Do you feel that 6,000 a year is maybe about appropriate for?
Yeah, just in case something else goes wrong.
Okay. Public safety, the emergency management expendable capital reserve fund. Number 9 here. Funding for equipping town emergency shelter with basic supplies and operation of emergency shelter. Balance of 2,000 to 3,000. With 1,000 being put in each year. This is pretty low cost stuff. I think it's a few space blankets and some, I don't know, MREs or something. I don't even know what the inventory is.
Right now, it's nothing.
It's
We have
nothing.
nowhere to store it.
Oh, so there's nothing. Okay. This money has not been spent as far as I know ever.
Mm-mm.
In the case of an emergency though, then it could be allocated for, yes. Okay. All right. Highway Department, Highway Expendable Trust Fund. We went over that a little bit. So if it is funded at 60,000, or it was funded at 60,000 in 2022, should bring it up to about 250, which is about 80%,
More than that.
yeah, or 20%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the 1.3 million estimate for the whole project. And Kathy, you're generally proposing that
For 2023,
for 2023, reducing to
30.
30-ish, yeah. Okay. Drake Hill Road, Bridge Expendable Capital Reserve Fund, 80-20 match with the state. As you said, Kathy, that one is on hold, or the program is
The program is.
on hold.
Yeah.
Funding at the state level. We are a balance after 2022 funding, it'll be a balance of around 92,000. Target of 150. And we want to have that funds ready if that ever did start up. So perhaps with reducing the Highway Expendable Trust Fund, the Drake Hill Road Bridge Expendable Capital Reserve Fund should be increased some amount
Yeah, it's not gonna
to accelerate that.
I don't believe it, it would happen in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
They might say, we're coming 2024, and even that's really
Yeah.
stretching it, so. If you give it the 8,000 from 2022, bring it up to 92, and then 8 in 2023, brings you up to 100, we're only $50,000 off.
Yeah.
And if we had to appropriate in 2024, you just do the 50,000 so we have it.
Yeah. But the whole thing of CIP is to smooth it out as much as possible.
So we don't know if it's ever gonna happen, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, the bridge has to get repaired some point somehow, yes?
It's a red listed bridge, but it's not like you're gonna fall through when you go over.
Right.
There's some cracks underneath in the concrete where the rope goes through.
Well, what do you think would be appropriate amount for increasing to accelerate
10.
to make it
Yeah.
10 each year, or increase by 10?
Right, 10, and then you can decide next year. Just leave it at 8 next year, but I wouldn't be too concerned with.
Okay. So you're saying leave it at 8 or move it to 10?
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel I'm just hearing what you said of like
Mhm.
having the money ready and
Mhm.
smoothing it out.
Mhm.
Since we're reducing from the or proposing to reduce from the highway expendable
Mhm.
trust fund to say that's a reduction of 30. What if this was 15 each year and then that just accelerates
Mhm.
that to 30? That would be about 4 years out. It would be pretty close to funded.
Yes.
Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah. Like 15.
Cemetery expendable trust fund, a targeted 25, we're at 23, 24, another year it'll be at 25. Anything happening cemeteries
I don't
wise
think so.
that anyone knows of? So
Leave it level.
that one maybe should be reduced. Just saving money for cemeteries for,
If you want, I would maybe say reduce that to 5 and put the 5 under the next one, Revale Trust Fund, because
reduce it to 500.
reduce cemeteries to 500 and increase Revale Trust Fund to 4,000.
Because the cost of that is just always going up, basically.
And we've been budgeting that amount
Okay.
for a long time, and
Yeah.
I know we're doing, I think it's 2024, I think.
So that's our proposals. Any further discussion, CIP? Are there any other funds or things that we should, we have these line items. Are there other
Yeah, I
line
don't-
items that we should be establishing?
Not under our jurisdiction, it's more school board stuff.
Okay.
So the balance from local funds for that last one,
The revaluation. Yeah.
right, is 20,000, is that what that says? And what do we have currently?
Is 8,000 with a 3,500 contribution.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
I just think we need to move a little quicker on that, so we have the
sounds-
money when it comes along.
Sounds good.
Oh yeah, 2025. So funding for upcoming reevaluation 2025.
And again, his price might go up, so there's no harm in getting a few extra $100 in there.
Yeah. So at 25, we would be at, we did 444, 16,000 more. That'd be over the 20, but that's probably going to be needed.
Mm-hmm,
Sounds good.
mm-hmm. And you can always get ahead of the game for the next revow,
Okay.
just a little bit, I mean, not a lot.
And there's no other things that the town is maybe needing budgeting for in the long term that are known.
Not that I can think of.
Okay. All right. So concludes our CIP portion of the meeting. Huzzah. All right. Route 16 commercial residential zone discussion. Be great to have the full board here for this, but just something to revisit. I'd have to even look up when that was voted in, but
Long ago.
long ago.
Probably when the zoning ordinances came into play.
To make 16 commercial, yeah. Okay. Kind of dovetailing with the DOT traffic analysis and the safety of it all, and that not all development necessarily leads to better safety, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And as crazy as that road is,
Mm-hmm.
Leaving it wide open for max development,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
But on the other side, this road wasn't built for the volume of traffic that travels over it every single day.
It was
We
not.
don't have any lull anymore, so to say someone can't start a business or have a business, it's their turn to do something for us
Mhm.
and figure out something. I don't know what the answer is, but
Yeah.
figure something out with our road to make it safer.
Mhm.
And yes, speed obviously is an issue.
Yeah.
We haven't really gone over our budget yet, but one of the things I may suggest is increasing the sheriff's budget to create more details for us.
Patrol detail.
Yeah. Because initially when we contracted with the sheriff's department, it was to patrol solely Albany streets, no Route 16. And it was basically to, lower the drugs.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Mhm.
And they're just known, they're like, got themselves right into our neighborhoods and,
Yeah.
Everybody sees them and everybody even knows them or will wave.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
But maybe to add something, because we don't have our own police department, maybe add a little bit where they will sit on Route 16
Mhm.
in our community.
And yes, they can enforce Route 16, or
They
does that
can.
have to be state highway?
Mhm.
They can.
They can.
Follow up on that is the speed limit signs with the, you are going this speed kind of thing.
Mhm.
Is that,
It's a state highway. Nothing we can plant there.
yeah. How do we petition the state to move that
We've
along?
already written the director for a traffic study.
Great.
And if you noticed, even right after that meeting,
Yeah.
there was a couple of lines going across Route 16 over by Elwood.
Yeah.
And then there was another one on Draco
Draco,
Road.
yeah.
So we haven't been informed formally, but
Yeah.
I think they're
Looking at it.
yeah, they're seeking things out. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll see something for that project.
Okay. All right. Again, in general, the next point of order was ordinances identifying areas that Albany Planning Board may want to address for the future. We can have discussion now. We can also have discussion with the rest of the board members at the next.
Right now, nothing comes to my brain
Yeah.
as far as that.
Lastly, planning board files and organization. So this kind of keeps coming up about the closet and the lack of organization in there. And I volunteered a couple times to say, oh, I'll get in there and do it. And every time I go in to do it, it's like, it's just self-defeating because whatever level of organization you do, in the end, you just have to ram it all back in there. And so my question and request is, what other spaces in the building can we maybe use? And
Buy some more file cabinets.
can we get, what is, I haven't done it, and I was hoping to ask Curtis and Brian, because they do maps and all that stuff all the time, but like, an actual filing system that works for all the plats that we have. And then, I think anything this size, obviously your file cabinets, but what is a functional system?
I know in that closet there, we have it's like a metal rack where they are in, and I don't know how orderly that is.
By
but
year or something, yeah?
It's not even by year, it's like a square rack.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little more organized than that.
What about the room what is supposed to be the road agent's room, but is not?
It's the treasurer's office.
Treasurer's now?
There's a lot of stuff in there. I don't know how important it is, but
It's more like space for maps,
Yeah.
right? Because
I would
the stuff
say,
that's this size, we can get file cabinets,
sure.
and the closet would maybe actually work for that.
I
But all the
think
maps
if you wanted
do
something
not
like
fit.
that and you want, look into something that to purchase
Yeah.
out of, the planning board budget.
Yeah.
And how many you would need in order to organize that.
Yeah.
And then formally ask the board of selectmen for permission to use a space in that back office.
Mhm.
Maybe your corners, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that would work
That
for
would
you.
be the process. Okay. That sounds like a good plan. That's that. Anything further?
Not for me.
Morris, any other business?
No.
Okay. Hearing none?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
More seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried and adjourned at 7:26. Thank you.